Hello everyone, welcome to SportsKhabri and arunfoot. We're back with Candid Football Conversations, and it's because India has announced their 28-man probable squad for the World Cup qualifiers that are set to begin in November, um, mid-November. Arunava, first look at this 28-man probable squad. We'll go through the entire list before discussing them. But your first thoughts, looking at this list?
Well, the big news, of course, is that Apuya Aralte, or as he's mentioned in the list, or what is his official name in the passport, Lale Mawia, is finally back in the squad. So I think the right decision by a head coach, and hopefully Apuya can perform as he has been in recent weeks and months for Mumbai City.
Fair enough. All right. Apuya, the highlight and standout probably for a lot of people. Let's just quickly run through the squad. So the goalkeepers, we've got Amrinder Singh, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, and Vishal K. Let's kind of dissect this section by section. Goalkeepers, any shocks or anybody else that you'd have liked to see in the makeup for the goalkeeper?
No, I would say the only surprise might be that Igor Stimac has called up 28 players and he's decided only to pick 3 goalkeepers instead of 4. So he has in recent camps, he's had 4 goalkeepers. We were discussing it last night in our live, and in last night's live, we had the name of Purbala Chempa in there, who suddenly now is no longer there. So therefore, that could have been a name that could have cropped up. So therefore, otherwise, these are the 2 very, very experienced goalkeepers, and Vishal Keth has been the best goalkeeper in the ISL in the recent past.
Fair enough. So I think goalkeeper is pretty straightforward. Defenders, now it's a little interesting here because Anwar Ali is missing. We'll get to that. There's a reason I'm saying that. So Akash Mishra, Lachununga, Mehtab Singh, Nikhil Pujari, Rahul Beke, Roshan Singh, Sandesh Jingan, and Subhashish Bose. So you've got 3 centre halves there. Sandesh Jingan, Lachununga, and Mehtab Singh. You got to pick 2 Arunava. Surprised that he hasn't provided himself with another option in the centre back department?
To some extent, yes. But then the question is, who would that have been? Would it have been sort of a newcomer? Could it have been potentially a young, talented centre back? Who you could have picked. We have been discussing this over the last 2-3 nights on our lives as well. Difficult decision. He's decided to go for 3. I thought Preetham Kotal might have been a good option to at least have in the squad. He didn't think the same. So therefore, to me at the moment, Mehtab Singh is not playing his best. But looking at the way Stimac likes to pick experience over, talent at the moment, I would think that Sandesh Jingan and Mehtab Singh more than Lachununga look to be the likely pairing for India.
I know, interesting that you mentioned Preetham Kotal, because he would not only have provided you cover in that centre back area, but also would act as a natural sort of right back replacement for Nikhil Pujari. We don't seem to have a like for like right back replacement at the moment. Do you think that's another reason for Preetham Kotal's inclusion potentially? Like he could have probably seen that and included?
I would have thought so. A surprising inclusion has been Rahul Beke to me. We were discussing last night if 6 players from Mumbai City get picked. We thought Purbala Chempa most probably would be that 6th player, and Rahul Beke makes a comeback into the international fold for India. So therefore, again, Beke or Preetham Kotal is good as a right back option. But on the other side, if I'm looking at centre backs, I think it might not have harmed myself if I had someone like Preetham in there. Because again, he is a player who can use as a right back as well as a centre back, and he's been playing quite good in the ISL. So
interesting that you just mentioned Rahul Beke, sort of slipped out of my head. A player who can cover at centre half if required as well. So potentially, do you see him starting? It's an option that Stimac does have now.
It's an option because if I look at my right backs, it is Nikhil Pujari and Rahul Beke. Akash Mishra and Subhashish Bose are my natural left back. And I've got Roshan who can potentially play on both sides. So I do have options. The question is, what are my options as centre backs? And we've discussed it multiple times on our lives. Therefore, guys, do like, share and subscribe those as well. Mehtab Singh is not in his best of form. And Lachununga at international level is just inexperienced. That combination. So therefore, it could have been an option, but he didn't pick it.
Midfielders then are now, because finally we've got Apuya into the squad. We don't know if he's going to make the final squad. It's a different story altogether. Anil Thapa, Sahal, Brandon, some of the names, Suresh, of course, in there for potential starting options, who starts for you in the three in midfield?
That's an interesting question. Depending on our opponents, I think we have to look at a defensive setup. And there's another player who's come in who has not been part of the squad. That's Glenn Martins.
Glad Martins,
And
yeah.
so that's a potential destructive element. So the question now is, I think Sahal as an attacking midfielder is set. Sahal is playing at a level where he has to play. The question is, who are the other two players you could use? Apuya comes in for me naturally because I can use him as a 6 and an 8. And the question is, who is next then to Apuya or even behind Apuya? There the question is it a Thapa? Is it a Suresh? Or might it be even a Glenn Martins? So that's the question that the coach has to answer for me. Again, if he doesn't think Apuya starts, if he thinks Anirudh Thapa is ahead of him or Brandon is ahead of him, who is then our defensive 6? But I think Apuya at the moment is more valuable, especially if you look at last night's match of Mumbai City against Punjab FC, that he's more valuable as an 8 and a 10 than just being a holding 6.
Yeah, fair enough. Looked threatening in front of goal. Got away a good few shots as well. So fair enough. Arunava, the guys on the flanks, do they pick themselves? Mahesh and Chankte at the moment?
Yes, if I look at the last 2 months of international football, I would say that Mahesh Naurem has established himself on that flank, and the way the boy has played has been really, really impressive. On the other side, Chankte against Malaysia in that second half was our biggest threat. And if you look at the impact Chankte also had last night against Punjab, is that Chankte is slowly getting back into that groove. So that's a positive and a given. And I think those two boys at the moment are better than a Manveer, a Rahul KP, a Vikram, a Nanda. So therefore, Udanta as well in that list. So therefore, yeah, that's your list.
So I don't know, you just touched upon the several wide options that we have. There are so many options at the moment. You've got Liston Kolas, Anand Kumar, you've got Udanta Singh, Rahul KP can play out wide, Vikram Pratap, Manveer can play out wide if needed. So they've got about 6 options apart from the 2 who are going to start. Too many wingers for you? You think he can, rather than removing players from other departments, he can probably eliminate a couple from the wide players department?
I think a couple, maybe even 2, 3 might not make the cut. Midfielders, we have to mention someone where people have been quite critical in the recent weeks is Rohit Kumar. He also makes the cut. So therefore, it will be interesting to see how Stimac names his final 23 and who is in. Nanda Kumar picked up an injury in a friendly against Mohammedan Sporting for East Bengal earlier the week. So I don't know if he's going to be fit to represent India. So therefore, those few questions remain, and that will be interesting to see. But the good part is in attacking positions, in wide positions, we have multiple options. And this seems to have switched over the last year. A year ago, we were talking about our defensive unit looked strong, solid, and we've got options. And suddenly, we seem to have a problem at the back. Anwar Ali, of course, injured. Jigson injured. Ashik Kurunian injured. So I don't hope we get more injuries in the next week in the ISL, which would weaken us. But again, in our attacking positions, we have options. And that's a good sign at the moment. But again, our defensive unit is going to be the key for the 2 matches that we're going to play.
Yeah. So finally, the forwards are now Ishan Pandita, the central striker department, sort of. Ishan Pandita, Sunil Chhetri, and Manveer Singh, the 3 who've been picked for the camp. Do you think one of them will probably be eliminated? Probably Ishan Pandita, given Stimac has shown his preferences for Manveer and Sunil.
Could be, but I think it depends on how Ishan shows himself in the camp in Dubai. Good to see him back because Ishan has that knack of scoring goals. And I think that's something which a lot of Indian strikers lack or don't have. So therefore, it's important if Ishan can get into the squad. He's always a potential threat as a substitute. So therefore, I wouldn't count him out. but Manvir comes in because Manvir is a player at the moment who can play in multiple positions, and I think that's I think an added value, that he's not only an out and out striker. He can play potentially on the right wing as an attacker. He can even play as a potential offensive right wing back. So therefore, I think he is ahead of Ishan because he's not an out and out striker, but he has the options of playing in other positions.
Fair enough. So those are our opinions on the 28-man squad that's been announced right now. We'll see who makes the cut and makes the final 23-man squad. They'll be taking on, they'll be representing India for our first set of World Cup qualifier matches in November. Well, thanks again, Arunava, for joining in. Please do like, share, and subscribe to both channels, SportsKhabri and Arunfoot. And you can catch our live conversations that we do every day. We'll be back for one today as well.
Thanks and good night. And as always, let us know your opinions. Which players are missing from the squad in your opinion? Which players don't deserve a call-up? Write it in the comments below. And as always, as Rahul has said, like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.